Ireland. It's described as a small island with a big presence. It's said that its plush emerald fields and rocky shores will leave you spellbound. Many of us have never traveled there. We are strangers to a country where thousands of miles separate us. But we do share a common thread, and that is compassion. When a life is taken, I believe that humanity will come together. They will reach out a hand and say, I feel your loss, I feel your grief, and I understand your rage. This is Anastasia Kriegel. She was 14 when her life was savagely taken. Would you spare a moment to hear her story? Can a child embody the elements of evil from the time they take their first breath? Can some children just be bad seeds? Before you answer, let me take you to Ireland on May 14th, 2018. This is Glenwood House, a farmhouse in Lucan, Ireland, built in the 1800s on over 100 acres of farmland. The now derelict structure holds the gruesome memories of Anastasia Kriegel's murder. She was just 14 years old when two 13-year-old boys decided her fate. As we journey into this disturbing nightmare of a case, we'll learn who these children were and what brought them together in one of Ireland's most horrific murders. In the end, you'll have to decide if the punishment for Anastasia's murder fits the crime. First, let's take a closer look at the victim. Anna was just 2 years old when she was adopted from Russia in 2006 by Geraldine and Patrick Kriegel. From the start, Anna's life was filled with both physical and emotional issues. A tumor removed from her right ear had caused hearing loss, and she had poor eyesight. To complicate matters further, Anna had problems with short-term memory and suffered from Osgood-Schlatter disease. The disease typically appears in preteens and teenagers during growth spurts, causing painful inflammation when bones, muscles, and tendons are changing rapidly. Anna's experience with the disease was particularly stressful, as she quickly grew to 5 feet 8 inches tall by the time she was 13. Her parents said she could have easily passed for 18 years old. Anna longed to fit in and have friends. Instead, her classmates mocked her and bullied her because she looked different and because she was adopted. All of these issues sent Anna on an emotional roller coaster. Fights broke out at school, and Anna's mother found a troubling photo on Anna's phone. The photo depicted Anna blindfolded and tied to a chair. She sadly explained to her mother that it was just a prank to see if a boy would come to rescue her. As much as Geraldine and Patrick tried to help Anna, it quickly became clear that she needed professional help. At one point, Anna even had thoughts of taking her own life. Her parents immediately put her into counseling where she remained until her murder. Now let's take a look at the two 13-year-olds found guilty of taking Anna's life. The boys were minors, so the court sealed their identities for the duration of the trial, and still to this very day, they are referred to as Boy A and Boy B. The teens were best friends and co-conspirators. They spoke like young adults. They were intelligent, calm, and at times emotionally detached. Neither boy liked Anna and spoke of her with great disdain. Boy B described Anna as an outcast. She didn't have a boyfriend and dressed in slutty clothes. She was a weirdo and someone he didn't want to be around. Anna became the perfect target for Boy A. Her physical and emotional problems left her vulnerable to the sadistic fantasy killing that he had planned for her. Of course, there was no such thing as the perfect crime. The boys made some mistakes that would eventually trap them in their web of lies and deception. Using eyewitness accounts, surveillance cameras, physical evidence, and interviews with both Boy A and Boy B, authorities were able to detail exactly what happened the day Anna was murdered. The following details may be difficult to hear, but it's nothing compared to the pain and suffering of Geraldine and Patrick as they listened to the gut-wrenching testimony during the trial. 1 month before Anna's murder, Boy B describes a conversation he had with Boy A, and it goes like this. Boy A, hey, want to kill somebody? Boy B, no. Boy A, here, why not? Boy B, because it's Boy A, oh, come on. Boy B, who are you planning on killing? Boy A, Anna Kriegel. Boy B said he never took the conversation seriously. As Boy A began to formulate his plan, he used over 12,000 pornographic photos depicting sexual violence. There were also pornographic videos of Russian teens, and one in particular was titled Anastasia. Authorities also found a screenshot on his phone of a video entitled The 15 Most Gruesome Torture Methods in History. There was also a search made of abandoned places in Lucan. May 14th, 2018 was the chosen day. After school, Boy A told Boy B to go to Anna's home and tell her that he would like to see her. Boy A was sure that Anna would agree to the meeting because, as he later told authorities, she had asked him out before. Boy B was given strict instructions to take Anna to Glenwood House, where Boy A would be waiting. At 4:55 p.m., the Kriegels' doorbell rang. Patrick went to the door and recognized Boy B as one of Anna's classmates. The boy asked to speak to Anna. Patrick remembered that Anna looked confused about why the boy was requesting to see her, because they were not friends. After a whispered conversation at the door, Anna told her father that she was going out and wouldn't be gone long. We can assume at this point that Boy B has told Anna that Boy A wanted to see her. Anna must have been very excited, thinking that a boy might actually like her. Patrick had been so taken aback by the unexpected visit that he forgot to ask Anna where she was going. By the time he reached the door, Anna and Boy B were already heading towards St. Catherine's Park. Patrick stated that Boy B was walking ahead of Anna and making no attempt to talk to her. What Patrick didn't know was that Boy B was carrying out Boy A's plan. He was leading Anna through St. Catherine's Park and all the way to Glenwood House, just like a lamb to slaughter. Boy B would later change his story of what happened next several times, but Boy A was much more methodical about the events of that day. He would stick to his story or just decline to answer with his attorney present. Just after 5 p.m., Anna and Boy B are seen entering the park. At first, Boy B tells authorities that he and Anna spent a few minutes at the park and then he left her there. Upon further questioning, Boy B then changes his story and says that Boy A asked him to fetch Anna and bring her to the park. Once he completed his task, he said he returned home to do his homework. Boy A told a different story. He claimed to have been doing chores after school and agreed to meet Boy B at the park when he was finished. When he arrived at St. Catherine's, Anna and Boy B were waiting for him. Boy A said that Anna wanted to speak to him about going out together, like she had before. He said he told her he wasn't interested, and Anna's response was sadness. Then she walked off. Boy A went on to further state that he had been attacked by 2 males on his way home. This story was an attempt to explain why he had injuries to his leg and arm, along with several cuts to his face. Boy A gave a description of the 2 assailants to authorities, but no one at the park that day saw anyone resembling the 2 males or remembered seeing an altercation. What the boys didn't know was that their movements that day were captured on security footage, and their stories weren't adding up. The footage showed Boy A walking through St. Catherine's Park on his way to Glenwood House before Boy B and Anna ever arrived. Boy A was carrying a backpack with him that investigators would later call his murder kit. Inside the pack were gloves, knee pads, shin guards, a hood, and a homemade mask. What you see here is our best representation of what the mask may have looked like based on the available information. The mask was skin-colored and covered only the top half of the face. Eyes and nose holes had been cut out, and sharp teeth had been cut into the upper jaw and painted red. The items were later found by investigators hidden in Boy A's bedroom. The items in the murder kit were used to cover as much of Boy A's body as possible during the attack on Anna. Her blood was found on the inside and outside of the mask, as well as on the knee pads, gloves, and backpack. At 5:10 p.m., Geraldine called Anna on her way home from work, but the call went straight to voicemail. Between 5:25 and 5:30 p.m., Anna and Boy B arrive at Glenwood House. At 5:30, Geraldine sends Anna a text, letting her know that she had arrived home. Again, there was no response. Between 5:25 and 5:40 p.m., this is the time that authorities believe Anna is murdered and sexually assaulted. Sensing something was wrong, Geraldine went to St. Catherine's Park a little after 5:30 p.m. to look for Anna. She and Patrick only knew Boy B's first name, so they didn't know where he lived or how to find him. The 2 spent the next few hours searching for Anna. As night approached, the now frantic parents went to authorities to report Anna missing. Officers were able to easily track down Boy B. The teen stated he left Anna in the park at around 5:40 p.m. and hadn't seen her since. On May 15th, a full-scale search was launched, and the investigation into Boy A and Boy B began. Sergeant John Dunn was assigned to Anna's case. He knew that the 2 teens weren't telling the truth and stated that Boy A and his father even tried to lead authorities to a false location during the search. Authorities were led to a local sewage treatment plant where kids liked to hang out. Sergeant Dunn knew that whether Anna was alive or dead, she had to be close to St. Catherine's Park. Authorities created a grid from Anna's last known location to all surrounding areas. They combed every square inch in and around the park. As they expanded the search, it led them to Glenwood House. Officer Sean White entered what was left of the old farmhouse. In a dimly lit room in front of the house, he could barely make out a figure on the floor. White recognized the odor before he actually determined it was a human body. Wearing only her black socks, Anna lay on the floor. Her hair was so full of blood that it was matted and clung to her face. Contractor's insulation tape was wrapped around her neck, and 3 of her fingers were trapped beneath it, as if she had been clawing to remove it. Anna had sustained over 50 injuries to her body, with the most serious ones to her head, face, and neck. She had been sexually assaulted. Pathologist Marie Cassidy would later testify that she was unable to tell what Anna had been violated with or if she was alive or dead when the assault took place. Through pathology and forensic evidence, authorities were able to piece together what happened to Anna soon after she arrived at Glenwood House. Wearing items in his murder kit, Boy A beat Anna to the ground as she entered the room where she was eventually found. She was then hit 4 times with a concrete block and dragged over to a window that had been boarded up. There was a small amount of light streaming through the cracks in the wood. This gave Boy A more light to see what he was doing. It was at this point that Anna was sexually assaulted. She fought valiantly against her attacker. Anna's blood was found on the walls and carpet, along with pieces of her iPhone. It's unknown when the tape was wrapped around her neck in an attempt to strangle her. Scattered about the room were some of the false fingernails and clothing that she had been wearing. A stick and concrete block used to beat her to death were caked in Anna's blood. After completing the plan to kill Anna, the boys retraced their route back home through St. Catherine's Park. At 5:49 p.m., Boy B walks back through the park alone. At 6:03 p.m., Boy A walks back through the park. The security footage directly contradicts the story both teens told to authorities. Everything in the investigation was starting to fall into place. Authorities had documented security footage of the suspects, proving discrepancies in the boys' statements. Boy B admitted to giving Boy A the insulation tape found around Anna's neck. Test results were now confirming that Anna's blood was found on Boy A's boots, and the semen sample taken from Anna's shirt was also a match to Boy A. All of this was more than enough to charge the boys with Anna's murder. Boy A was charged with murder and aggravated sexual assault. Boy B was charged with murder. At 13 years old, both Boy A and Boy B became the youngest in the history of the Republic of Ireland to be charged with murder. More details about what happened that horrible day in May would begin to emerge as the trial began on April 29, 2019. Boy B said he never took his friend seriously. He said he had no idea that Boy A was going to take Anna's life that day. The problem with Boy B's statements were that he had changed them so often, it was hard to say when he was telling the truth. In one of his last statements, this is what Boy B had to say about the day Anna was murdered. Boy B said he went to the room with Anna where Boy A was waiting. Boy A told Boy B to leave. Boy B ignored Boy A's command and decided to explore Glenwood House. He said he started to hear screams and thumping noises, so he returned to the room to see what was going on. Upon entering the room, he saw Boy A flip Anna down to the floor. He watched as Boy A choked her and pulled off her clothes. Boy B said that Anna was crying and begged, "No, don't do this." At one point, Anna and Boy A turned to look at Boy B. When asked why he didn't try to save Anna's life, he simply stated that he was scared and frozen into place. After a few seconds, he turned and ran from Glenwood House. After 14 hours of deliberation, the jury came back with a verdict. Boy A sat with his father's arm around him and rested his head against him. Boy B held tightly to his mother. At 2:02 p.m. on June 18, 2019, Boy A and Boy B were found guilty. As they were being led away, Boy B's father screamed, "You bunch of scumbags! You bunch of pricks! He's an innocent boy!" Sentencing took place on November 5, 2019. Boy A was sentenced to 12 years for aggravated sexual assault and life for Anna's murder. The sentence could be reviewed after 12 years. Boy B was sentenced to 15 years for Anna's murder. His sentence could be reviewed in 8 years. The boys were held in a detention center until they turned 18 in 2022 and were then transferred to an adult prison. When the pair are eventually released, they will be offered new identities. There are no winners in the murder of Anastasia Kriegel. We can debate the sentencing of Boy A and Boy B, and we can further debate if some of us are just natural-born killers. But what we can't debate is the fact that juvenile crime is on the increase. In the U.S. alone, we have seen an increase of 30%. Under Ireland's Children Act of 2001, parents can be held responsible for helping or encouraging their children to commit a crime and be held financially liable for damages or be forced to attend parenting classes. In April of 2024, we have seen the first case of parents being held responsible for their child's actions in the U.S. James and Jennifer Crumley became the first parents to be convicted of involuntary manslaughter for their 15-year-old son Ethan's mass shooting at Oxford High School in Michigan. Ethan killed 4 students and injured 7 others. James and Jennifer were said to have ignored the warning signs that led to the deadly shooting. They were sentenced to 10 to 15 years. Ethan was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As the wave of adolescent crime continues to crest, we have to ask ourselves if we will see more parents around the world held accountable for their child's actions. On May 14, 2018, Anastasia Kriegel was baited out of her house by a familiar face with evil intentions. Anna wanted friends, a boyfriend, a place to fit in, a moment that wasn't filled with sickness and doubt. When Anna left her house that day, she might have thought that those wishes would finally come true. But those wishes became echoes of fear and terror that trickled into every corner of Glenwood House. Please, take just a moment and think of Anna. Pray for her and her family. If you know of any child that is struggling with mental health issues, please reach out to a local mental health center or contact a member of law enforcement. You could save a life. Are you obsessed with true crime content? Subscribe now and join our growing community as we analyze and discuss the details of some truly baffling cold cases. Browse our growing library of cold case investigations and immerse yourself in the mysteries that keep us up at night. Subscribe and join the EOJ community today. All it takes is a click.